We know there were rumors about it months ago, but it started to pick up steam again on Sunday afternoon. Is SmackDown Live moving to 3 hours when they move to Fox Sports? Also, John Cena's WrestleMania match is being kept top secret. Also, Chris Jericho banned from everything WWE. And did Johnny Gargano request to stay in NXT for another year? All this plus so much more right here on Off the Script.
Delete this man.
You know, I didn't realize that Monday is April 1st, 2019. It's April Fool's Day here in the United States. Now, I guarantee you that when we get to the 11 o'clock hour on Monday night, I guarantee you I'm coming on here to do a review, and I'm going to say this, and I quote, "Man, WWE gave us a great Monday Night Raw! April Fools!" Guarantee it. I guarantee it, man. Anyway, it is Off the Script, episode 267, part number 3, to close out your month of March. Thank you guys so very much for all the support. We got a lot to get into. We're going to do things a little bit differently. I'm going to attack the news head on, because there's so much to go over, man. It was like Sunday, Christmas morning. It was like fucking Christmas morning on Sunday. All this wrestling news just popping out of nowhere, man. And it's all spearheaded by SmackDown Live being rumored again to be moving to 3 hours when they go to Fox Sports in October. Yes, because 3 hours is doing Monday Night Raw. So many good things, right? Well, we got to give everybody a dose of reality. I understand why WWE would do that, but I don't understand their stance on just giving people more and more and more while the quality of the shows fucking suffer. You know, the more the better with these people. It's never quality over quantity. It's always quantity first and foremost with these fucking people. So we're going to go over that today. Also, WWE planning a big WrestleMania swerve. This entire fucking WrestleMania season's been a swerve. I don't know why they would want to swerve us on top of what they swerved us with already. I don't get it. John Cena's match at WrestleMania is confirmed. He will be there, but it's being kept top secret. I don't know why they have to. Actually, you know what? I do know. And I really appreciate WWE having some sense of unpredictability going into WrestleMania. It's shit like that I find to be the most interesting, because whatever they got going on right now with the card that's laid out, it is fucking pathetic. It's sad. So if they're going to keep John Cena's WrestleMania appearance and a match top secret, it's going to be some big surprise, fine. It may end up disappointing us, but at least it gives us something to, contemplate and talk about in the days leading up to WrestleMania. Lars Sullivan's name's being thrown around again. We'll talk about that. WWE preparing tonight on Raw a big main event change for the WrestleMania main event. Are they going to do what I cried about in the week's podcast this weekend? I don't know. I ranted about it on part 1. I ranted about it even more so on part 2. Is it going to be a winner take all? We'll see what happens with that. WWE apparently, instead of saving it for a more important reason or a more important occasion, they're giving us Andrade versus Rey Mysterio again. And it means nothing on SmackDown Live. So we'll get into all that. I got so much to go over right here on the podcast. If you enjoy any part of this, please make sure you guys hit that thumbs up down below. I cannot begin to tell you how that helps out the videos, man. Not only does it help out the videos, it actually gets the channel to be recommended more so. The video in itself is going to be pushed more so on the recommended page. More eyes and ears will hear the podcast. So it's in your guys' control to hit that thumbs up, man. I would really, really, really appreciate it. Also, hit that subscribe button down below. And when you do, turn on that bell for all notifications. Follow me on social media, man. You know the deal. On Twitter and Instagram, JD from NY206, same thing. Follow me on Twitch, JD from New York, and patreon.com/JD from NY206. All my patrons over there are going to get this early. So thank you guys so very much for all your support on the Patreon page. If you missed this week's videos, man, off the script, WrestleMania main event will be winner take all except for Asuka. They need to justify Asuka's loss now. Then on Saturday, we talked about the major details about how the winner takes all will not really be a winner take all. Monday Night Raw, SmackDown Live, NXT, all on the channel for you guys. If you missed any part of my podcast this week, make sure you guys go and check all of that stuff out. I would really, really appreciate it. JDFromNY.com. If you guys want to sign up for the newsletter, one coming this week before we actually spearhead into Manhattan for WrestleMania weekend. I will be in the city. I have my meet and greet, which we'll discuss a little later. I want to thank you guys so very much for all your support. We have close to 80 confirmed with another 45 to possibly attend, man. That is over 100, well over 100. It's going to be crazy. Hooters in Manhattan, man. Hooters of Manhattan. That is going to be crazy with the off-the-script meet and greet right before NXT TakeOver New York at the Barclays Center. We'll go over that, like I said, a little bit later on in the podcast. I want to get right into the news, man. I don't want to waste any more of your time because we got a lot of it to go over. So let's start with this SmackDown Live story, which makes me nauseous every time I read it or look at the headline. WWE SmackDown Live expected to be moved to 3 hours with the new Fox Sports deal in October. I ask why. Now, I understand why they want to do this. I'm hearing that WWE is going to receive an extra $50 million from Fox Sports to have another hour added on top of SmackDown Live, and it might not even be on Fox Sports. They'll move it to FS1. Fox Sports here in the city is Channel 5. And if they move it to FS1, it's going to come to you on 2 different channels, which some people might think it's a headache. So an extra $50 million a year off the Fox deal just to get that 3rd hour of SmackDown Live. Now, I know why they have to do that or why that might be enticing to WWE. Now, with 2018, they made the most revenue in the history of that company for 2018. They need to trend upwards in everything that they do. If they don't make as much money as they did in 2018, in 2019, the stocks are going to go down. People might not be confident enough in WWE to maintain this level of business and revenue coming on in. So WWE, at any chance that they get, are going to jump at something like this because it's going to add to their overall bottom line at the end of the year. I understand that. But honestly, you can't make up this money by doing something else in the year that doesn't take away from the overall quality of the fucking television show? Why does anything need to be 3 hours as far as weekly television goes? That is a death sentence for weekly television shows. 2 hours has been the absolute sweet spot forever. 3 hours is absolutely killing Monday Night Raw. You overexpose your roster. You get the same shit every single week. Nothing is new. It starts to feel rehashed every single week. The level of creativity that goes into a 3-hour show is obviously apparent by the end of the month. When you look back at the Raws in March, how many of them stood out to you, and can you pinpoint something that genuinely made you say, you know what, this is a good show? I enjoyed this show. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Why would you do that to SmackDown Live? Why? SmackDown Live has been operating right now as far as the best, television product in WWE for a very long time. Compared to Raw, I mean, that's not really all that hard to do. But SmackDown Live has been operating as WWE's true A show as far as what we get as quality goes on a weekly basis. NXT's the A show every single week. SmackDown Live, as far as the main roster goes, they are the go-to. When we have a shitty Monday night, we look to SmackDown Live to make some sense or give us a sense of, you know what, this was a decent fucking show tonight. They're not perfect by any means. They got logic holes here and logic gaps there. It's not perfect by any means, but this company has been operating too long under the quality of the show is just deteriorating week after week after week because there's just an overabundance of weekly television. Now, if they move to 3 hours, there's 3 hours of Raw, 3 hours of SmackDown, and 1 hour of NXT on top of 205 Live and NXT UK. I'm burnt out by watching a 3-hour Raw. I don't want to watch another 3 hours of wrestling on Tuesday night. I don't. I don't know anybody who wants to watch 3 hours of anything. People complain about a baseball game being 3 fucking hours and too long. I don't understand WWE's logic here. $50 million, great. Now, I understand, but there has to be another way for them to make up that kind of money where it doesn't take away from the overall quality of the show. I don't know if SmackDown Live is going to be treading into Monday Night Raw territory with 3 hours. I don't know how any show could get as worse as Monday Night. But my God, please stop giving us so much WWE. If the product was fucking good, then I would understand. All right, 3 hours is 3 hours. But the product is so fucking bad right now. It's in its worst creative state that I've ever seen it in. This WrestleMania season has been fucking terrible. And you want to give me more. You want to give me more. WWE's moving to Fox in October. And even though we still have 6 months until that move goes down, they're already talking about this big change. Dave Meltzer opened up about this on Wrestling Observer Live. Apparently, WWE is thinking about turning the Blue brand into a 3-hour show with a third hour taking place on a different channel. After all, FS1, that's Fox Sports 1, they need programming after losing the UFC deal. Dave Meltzer goes on to say this, and I quote, "It's all speculation at this point, but there's definitely a chance of that, because the feeling is that since they have to film anyway, and 205 Live is kind of a waste of air, it's just not working. That maybe they'll do is 2 hours, 8 to 10 on Friday nights, and then do a third hour on FS1 with the idea that they can get another $50 million off of Fox by giving that extra hour." End quote. Now, Meltzer says this is not a done deal, but it's more just throwing around the idea. This is being talked about, and in the financial community, they're expecting it to actually happen. We'll have to wait and see what happens, but WWE's move to Fox in October could come with some very interesting results. I don't know what would happen to 205 Live in the process. I've been saying for months, ever since Triple H took over, yeah, that's great that you got his mind now operating and overseeing that entire show, but that show is obviously a waste of fucking time that they film it after SmackDown Live. Nobody really gives a shit. I would move that down to Full Sail, to be quite honest with you. Get those guys in front of a fucking audience that genuinely cares. Honestly, it would make the overall presentation of the show that much better. So we'll have to wait and see what they do here, but this is too much, man. This is honestly too much. 3 hours for weekly television is an absolute killer. Nobody wants to watch 3 hours of Monday Night Raw, man. We've been wanting Monday Night Raw to go back to 2 hours for God knows how long. It's the one thing at the top of everybody's list that they change automatically. How would you change Monday Night Raw? The first thing out of everybody's mouth is I would move it to 3 hours, or from 3 hours back to 2 hours. That's exactly what everybody would do. It's at the top of everybody's list. Moving SmackDown to 3 hours, yeah, it might have some decent aspects to it, like the guys that we don't normally see on a 2-hour show because they're too busy building around certain guys and certain storylines. On a 3-hour show, you might get some of those guys that aren't on TV or are not in anything prominent, and they may get some shine on that show, but do you trust this company to do anything as far as pushing guys that they're not featuring on television in a right way? This is WWE, for fuck's sakes. I don't give a shit who you are. I don't give a shit what SmackDown is. It stays at 2 hours. That's the sweet spot for the show. Anything else like this is going to absolutely take away from any positive that SmackDown Live is emitting right now. I don't want to see it. Financially, yeah, it's obviously a smart move for WWE to make. They got to keep their investors happy. They got to make sure that they're trending upwards instead of trending downwards. They have to make sure that they're making more money this year compared to last year to keep everybody happy. Otherwise, it's going to cast a shadow of doubt on everybody who has stock in this company. I understand that. But at some point, is it worth killing the quality of the fucking show? In my honest opinion, that $50 million does nothing for WWE's bottom line. And obviously, with the $50 million, it's not that big of a fucking deal to sacrifice the quality of your show. I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm not that bad when it comes to business, but they cannot sit here and sacrifice the quality of their shows anymore. They need to start getting better. They're doing everything to not get better. Come on, man. I hope it doesn't happen, but we'll see. Meltzer says he's expecting it to happen eventually. Only time will tell. WWE possibly planning a big WrestleMania swerve. Uh-oh. What does that mean? Now, everybody is claiming that WWE is not going to make this a winner-take-all. That Becky Lynch in the main event is going to pin Ronda Rousey or submit Ronda Rousey, and she's going to be the Raw Women's Champion. And it's going to be Becky Lynch as the Raw Women's Champion, Charlotte Flair as the SmackDown Live Women's Champion, Bayley and Sasha Banks as the WWE Women's Tag Team Champions, and at the end of the night, they're all going to stand in the ring, and the four horsemen are going to be unified for the night, giving you a WrestleMania moment, and that's the way the show's going to go off the air with all women, all the horsewomen, holding up individual titles at the end of the show. I don't know why anybody would want this. Why would anybody want this to end WrestleMania? Everybody is operating under the same fucking brain cell, and they're not thinking at all. You're all creating one huge logic gap for the entire situation. And you fell in and you can't get yourself out. Because you think you're a fucking tough guy. You think you're smart. Oh, JD, this is the way WrestleMania is going to end. How the fuck is WrestleMania going to end that way when none of them have anything to do with one another outside Becky and Charlotte? And why would Charlotte stand next to Becky in the main event holding titles up at the end of the show when their storyline is a storyline of them hating each other? Doesn't make any sense to you? Because it doesn't to me. I don't know why people don't think. The only way for this to be is a winner take all. Now, if it's winner take all, what's the swerve going to be? Is Becky Lynch going to win a fucking title? I don't know. Could WWE book Ronda Rousey like Brock Lesnar? Or better yet, why don't they just give both titles to Charlotte Flair? I wouldn't be surprised at all if that's what they end up doing. Dave Meltzer mentioned this on Wrestling Observer Live about a rumored plan to have all four horsewomen close out WrestleMania as champions. He said, and I quote, "This is not happening." Well, at least not happening right now. Vince could change his mind. He changes his mind every hour. But it makes no sense with the direction in which they are going right now. Everybody wants to be an armchair booker, right? At least use your fucking head when coming up with a way to end WrestleMania. If Ronda Rousey retains the Raw Women's title, that doesn't give much of an opportunity at all for the horsewomen to be champions in that moment. Now, it will be very interesting to see if WWE pulls off a shocking Brock Lesnar moment with Ronda Rousey, because everyone assumes that she is out of the company following WrestleMania. But you never know what Vince McMahon could arrange behind closed doors. He may actually end up swerving everybody with the main event, because we all expect Becky Lynch to win the Raw Women's Championship. Another stipulation here with the winner take all could actually benefit Charlotte Flair winning the match, becoming a double champion. That could be a real twist as well, and WWE kind of hinted at that on their social media on Instagram, where they photographed on their official Instagram Charlotte holding both the Raw and the SmackDown Live women's titles. Needless to say, they didn't really excite anybody with that one image. Now, I don't understand why you would plan a swerve in this entire storyline. Look at what WWE has done to this storyline through all of WrestleMania season. Coming out of the Survivor Series, we were so invested in Becky Lynch. We were so excited about her winning the Royal Rumble. WWE convoluted that. And then coming out of the Royal Rumble, WWE had this great moment with Becky Lynch and Ronda Rousey. Finally, woman to woman, face to face, on the road to WrestleMania now. Becky Lynch is obviously going to choose Ronda for the main event. They had to squeeze Charlotte Flair in there because they can't do anything, especially in a main event for the women, without having Charlotte Flair in there. Look at how they convoluted everything. There needs to be a payoff. They have absolutely zero creativity left to even think about extending this anymore. I don't even know where they go when Becky wins the title. Or hopefully wins the title. You want to extend this for another fucking year with Becky chasing? Or another 6 months? Worst case scenario with Becky chasing? All of what we've seen needs a payoff. Ronda losing the title is the only payoff to Becky Lynch. Charlotte does not factor into the payoff. Unless you do that to simply say fuck you to everybody because we're all expecting Becky to beat Ronda, and then you give Charlotte both titles and she unifies both titles and Becky beats Charlotte for the undisputed women's championship. But what point would that make? Everybody is watching and going to WrestleMania to see Becky submit or pin Ronda, not Charlotte. You still haven't given us a reason as to why Charlotte even won the fucking title. The only reason why Charlotte is in there is because you failed to explain why she's in there. The only thing that we have, or assume right now, is that, well, she's the chosen one of Vince McMahon. Great. And you let us down with that because you put her in a title match that was unadvertised with no fucking explanation. Now, they're supposed to explain something on Monday Night Raw with this new stipulation going into the match. They're preparing Monday Night Raw for a big announcement for the WrestleMania main event. Meltzer discussed all of this on Wrestling Observer Live. WWE has a very interesting stipulation planned that will be announced on Raw. Tomorrow night, he says, they're going to announce, and I think it's going to be called Winner Take All. I think that is the term that they like. Why don't we call it a Texas Tornado match? What I was told is they're going to announce the terms and all that. It looks maybe like the winner take all thing is happening. It's leading right now at the list of things to do for this match. I'll put it this way. As of midweek, it was going to be what I told you, which was Charlotte. If she gets pinned, the winner gets the SmackDown Live title. If Rousey gets pinned, the winner gets the Raw title. If Becky Lynch gets pinned, what? No title changes, which isn't going to happen. That's not a winner take all. That's a winner takes some. The winner take all doesn't even apply to Becky Lynch because she's going in with nothing. Ronda has a winner take all. Charlotte has a winner take all, but Becky doesn't? That makes no sense. You're leaving one huge gap in the middle of all that. So you want to tag it as a winner take all, you make it a winner take all. No matter who wins that match, they get both titles. Charlotte wanted to be in the fucking main event so badly. WWE, all they have to do is have, you know what? Charlotte is a fighting champion. I'm putting my belt into the poker fucking pot, right? And it's going to be on the line as well. I got a wheel and deal. So you put the title on the line against Ronda's title, and whoever wins the entire fucking jackpot. It's not that difficult of a situation to get out of and explain. Now, again, I mentioned this all weekend. This is the only question you should have been asking yourself. Why didn't this happen months before? Or weeks before? Why didn't this happen in Fastlane? Why didn't this happen at the Elimination Chamber? Charlotte could have won the SmackDown Live Women's title well before Tuesday night. And she could have been so upset and obsessed with getting into the main event. She would have felt screwed coming out of the Royal Rumble, losing to Becky Lynch, who wasn't even advertised for the Royal Rumble. She would have won the title, and she wanted to be in the main event so badly to get back at Becky that she won the title from Asuka, and she's putting that title on the line to kind of make a peace offering for Becky. You know, you don't think I belong here, but I got this. And you know what I'm going to do, and you know what I'm going to propose? I'm going to put this title on the line against Ronda's title, and I want it to be a winner-take-all. That's all they had to do. And the plan was for this to be, but they didn't execute it until 2 weeks before WrestleMania. Unbelievable. So if it's not a true, genuine winner-take-all, what's the fucking point? So Meltzer goes on to continue and say, so basically, Becky Lynch is going to win a championship. More likely than not, unless they change their mind. Like I said, any of these things, she's not getting both belts unless they change their mind. End quote. It looks like WWE is going to add an extra cherry on top of the cake, proverbially, in the first ever women's main event of WrestleMania. This could be a confusing stipulation for the match, but it will also be pretty good for Lynch because if you're going to think of the psychology behind it, Becky Lynch won't have as much of a target on her because she doesn't have a title to lose. If WWE goes for the stipulation, it makes sense that both champions might gang up on Lynch to take her out so they can fight each other and win a guaranteed title. Lynch could also reemerge later on, but this could make sense. If WWE goes in this direction, it would just be another last-minute decision and addition that the fans should be expecting by now. Why do you have to convolute the fucking stipulation? It's not a winner-take-all. Well, if this one pins that one, they only get that title, or if Ronda gets pinned, the winner who pins Ronda only gets that title. Winner-take-all. All belts on the line. Whoever makes the pinfall wins everything. Simple. Simple. Why would you go and convolute everything on top of everything you already convoluted? It doesn't make any sense. It really doesn't make any sense. John Cena's WrestleMania match is being kept top secret. Yeah, we got a fucking James Bond in WWE now. They want everything to be top secret. John Cena's match is being kept secret, says Meltzer on Wrestling Observer Live. I mean, people who know everything on the inside don't know this one. I mean, people internal do know. But I don't know who it is. He says it's not Kurt Angle. He's not doing anything with Kurt Angle. Kurt is wrestling Baron Corbin unless there's another guy that's coming in that we don't know of. That's what it's going to be. The idea that Kurt's going to be wrestling 2 matches, I don't even want to hear it. I don't even think Kurt Angle should be wrestling on this show. Kurt should have a nice ceremony with no match, and that is it. End quote. Now, John Cena will not be wrestling Kurt Angle. He won't be in the Andrade the Giant Memorial Battle Royal either, which they announced will be taking place, as well as a women's Battle Royal. There are a couple of people that Cena could work with. The Undertaker is out of the picture. He will not be at WrestleMania as of right now. I did mention on part 2 that we could potentially see The Undertaker interrupt Elias, because Elias did mention The Undertaker in a promo or an interview that he would love to work with The Undertaker one year at WrestleMania. Undertaker is going to work the Saudi Arabian show, and WWE would rather use him there than make a last-minute addition at WrestleMania. Lars Sullivan is still an option. We might see Lars Sullivan in the WWE within the next 2 weeks, or return to the WWE, I should say. We'll have to wait and see if that is going to materialize into anything. He went away with anxiety attacks. He's been away for a very long time, and Triple H actually did say on the NXT TakeOver New York conference call, when someone asked, I don't know who it was, about Lars Sullivan, where is he, how's he doing, could we expect to see him back? Triple H said, we're just going to have to wait and see, but it's there. So he kind of danced around the topic. He gave you one of those, well, you're going to have to wait and see, but there is plans. So you'll see Lars. Lars is in good spirits. Lars is in good health. You're just going to have to wait and see. So that could be something of a possible tease for WrestleMania. Lars Sullivan could come on out, and he could still be John Cena's WrestleMania opponent, and he could squash John Cena at WrestleMania. I don't know how impactful that's going to be. I would actually save that for Monday Night Raw. I really would. At this point, John Cena, on top of 17 fucking matches, is not really needed at WrestleMania. He's not going to make the show better. He's not going to make the show worse. So why the fuck even have him there? Save him for Monday Night Raw. He's back as of today, April 1st. He's back. So he's done. I don't understand why. We're done with filming, I should say. So this is the last week that he could possibly be on Monday Night Raw tomorrow. I don't know. Or tonight. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But Lars Sullivan is being talked about. Meltzer mentions, I don't think they're going to do a match with Lars, but I wouldn't be surprised if John Cena does a match with someone and wins, and Lars shows up at Mania and destroys him. I mean, it might be a little early for Lars, but just the way Triple H talked about him when he was asked about Lars, and other things I've heard, Lars, I'm thinking, is coming back fairly soon. I can say for sure it's leaning in that direction, and Triple H kind of hinted that as well on the conference call. End quote. Don't be surprised for a big Lars Sullivan WrestleMania moment if WWE wanted to bring him back and make a big splash. Mania obviously is a spotlighted event to do that. I would honestly just save it for Monday Night Raw, to be quite honest with you. Why would you do that? And that is going to get buried under everything else that's happening on that show. Save it for the next night. You're clearing up storylines on WrestleMania. And going into the main event, you're clearing up everything. Everything comes to an end on Sunday night. Why don't you just save a new beginning for Monday Night Raw, where Raw after Mania is looked at as a reset button? I don't get it. I don't know what impact Lars Sullivan's going to make at WrestleMania when it's not going to be a thing that's talked about by the end of the night, when you want it to be something that stands out in your mind as, oh fuck, this guy, the freak, Lars Sullivan came back and he destroyed John Cena. Save it for Raw. I don't understand it. It would have more of an impact at Raw than it would at WrestleMania. Otherwise, it's going to get lost underneath everything else. Triple H and Batista, Shane McMahon and The Miz, everything else that's happening. Becky Lynch and Ronda, Charlotte for the title. It's going to get swallowed up by Kofi Kingston winning the title possibly. Why would you do that? I don't get it. I would save him for Monday Night Raw and not WrestleMania.
And we're live on camera as we're here on set of Clearwater, Tampa, Florida. It's beautiful out here. Must be about a good 77 right now. Good poolside, people everywhere. It's just been a great experience here, relaxing from the vigorous work over in New York City. I want to announce that the website is up, Big Hodge Media NYC. It's your #1 central area to find out everything going on with the Big Hodge Media podcast, Big Hodge Media vlog. Also, merch should be available soon, so stay tuned for that. I got some stuff coming up, a meet and greet this week that I'm excited about with JD from New York. We're going to be at Hooters on Friday, April 5th. I believe, April 5th, 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. Make sure you could come on down and check us out if you're in the NYC area. We're doing a meet and greet. Cameras will be rolling. I'm pretty sure JD will have other very special guests there. April 6th, Culture Clash, House of Glory. A lot of big names there. So if you wanna, you can go ahead and cop a ticket online and come check us out. And it'll be a packed crowd.
Man, that was Big Hodge Media, telling you guys about the meet and greet at Hooters, man. Hooters of Manhattan in New York City, 155 West 33rd Street. That's right across from Madison Square Garden. Happening Friday, April 5th from 1 to 4 p.m. The official off-the-script meet and greet. Come hang out right before NXT TakeOver New York, man, where we are guaranteed a new NXT champion. I'll be there. We have over 100 possible people attending this thing, man. So come hang out with me and the entire Hooters staff of Hooters of Manhattan. It's going to be great. We'll talk wrestling. We'll have some Guinness. Big Hodge is going to be there filming and documenting the whole thing as he can only do, man. One of the most talented guys that I know. And I'm very fortunate to have him and a lot of you guys on my side, man. You guys are really making this a dream come true, to be quite honest with you. I'm excited about it. I'm excited to meet you guys. And it's going to be fun. 155 West 33rd Street, right across from Madison Square Garden in New York City. Come hang out And if you guys are going to TakeOver, you guys will be able to get there on time. 4 or the 5 train. You guys can take an Uber, a Lyft. Doesn't matter, man. You will be there on time. And do me a favor. I'm going to leave you guys a link right in the annotation. You'll see it pop up in that little eye in the top right corner. Go and subscribe to Big Hodge Media. Please, man. He's one of the most talented guys that I know. He's just trailblazing like he usually states on his vlogs. He's trailblazing. He's got a new channel up and running. I want to get him to 1,000 subs after WrestleMania, man. So make sure you guys go over there and sub. Tech Talk, he's going to be talking about tech. He's going to be talking about wrestling, lifestyle, you name it, man. It's going to be good. And he's changing the podcast game here on YouTube. As you can see, the visuals of his videos are absolutely amazing. And he actually did the intros for Raw and Off the Script. So he is the man behind all of those. Go and check him out. Big Hodge Media right here on YouTube. The official RSVP for the Hooters meet and greet is down in the comments, pinned down below, man. Hope to see all of you guys there for the official meet and greet of Off the Script. Let's get into the news, man. Continuing on here. Andrade and Rey Mysterio to wrestle. Not at WrestleMania, but again on SmackDown Live. WWE has a lot of superstars right now on the roster who don't have prominent roles at WrestleMania. Andrade Cien Almas is one of them. After his back and forth with Rey Mysterio that caught everybody's attention on SmackDown Live, WWE just ended it like that with no reason given. They moved Rey into the United States Championship match with Samoa Joe and left Andrade out on WrestleMania night, only to be in the Battle Royal. Now, WWE is putting these two in the ring again after a rumored WrestleMania match, which was to be hair versus mask. That clearly did not happen. Those plans changed. And now Rey Mysterio, like I mentioned, will battle Samoa Joe for the United States title. Dominic Mysterio's son will be at ringside, likely to get choked out by the Coquina Clutch. He's currently training to be a pro wrestler at Lance Storm's wrestling school. Rey and Andrade will get one more chance to face each other before WrestleMania. Andrade does not have a singles match at Mania, but Mysterio does. This is why Samoa Joe probably will not be too far behind on SmackDown Live. I don't know why they're giving us this match now, again, when it means absolutely nothing in the grand scheme of things. If WWE wanted to make this special, they would wait, have Rey win the title eventually, and then battle Andrade Cien Almas over the United States Championship. But they're giving us this match again because of their fuck up by not putting Almas in a priority match at WrestleMania after he literally had a great 2019 so far, and he's rewarded with nothing. He's rewarded with nothing. I don't understand it. Yet, there are people like Tamina Snuka and Nia Jax on the WrestleMania card, and wrestlers like Andrade are left off of WrestleMania. I don't understand it. So WWE thinks, well, we're not giving Andrade a match. We'll just give him the WrestleMania match that everybody wanted a week before WrestleMania, and everybody will be happy. What does it really mean? What does it really mean? It's going to be another one of these situations where you're using this match that you over fucking done already just to build towards Samoa Joe at WrestleMania. Is that what you think of the Andrade-Rey feud? When it could be so much more? I don't understand it. I really don't understand it. This is WWE logic, WrestleMania season. I mean, listen, I don't know why any of us should be complaining. It's probably going to be a great match, depending on how much time they get, but we've seen it already. The appeal and the luster of this match has dwindled after every time WWE's done it, and it means even less now. So they're going one-on-one on SmackDown Live. What the fuck does it really mean? Nothing. There's also a big title match scheduled for Monday Night Raw. WWE mentioned on Friday evening that the Revival will defend the Raw Tag Team titles against Ricochet and Aleister Black. This won't be a match at WrestleMania, but you never know if this could set up a match at WrestleMania. Now, it's going to be very interesting to see how this turns out because Black and Ricochet are also challenging the War Raiders at NXT TakeOver New York for the NXT Tag Team Titles. I don't really understand this decision. Like, I don't understand this decision. Why would you book? And I'm going to follow up a story that absolutely pisses me off to no end with Vince McMahon. I want to lay the groundwork here. Aleister Black and Ricochet are challenging the Revival on Monday Night Raw. Now, say they win the tag team titles on Monday night from the Revival and go into WrestleMania weekend with the Raw tag team titles. Why would you do that? Why would you do that? What if they won and then go in on Friday and challenge the War Raiders for the NXT tag team titles while being the Raw tag team titles? Now, I'm not saying that this is going to be a situation that happens, but I'm thinking outside the box here. Why would you want to take the Raw tag team titles into NXT and challenge for the NXT tag team titles when realistically, and I mean just based on brand superiority, we all know that the fucking tag team titles are worthless. I'm talking about brand superiority just on that aspect alone. Why would you want to take those tag team titles into NXT and fight for the NXT tag team titles when the Raw tag team titles are really positioned above all the other tag team titles in the WWE? Why would Ricochet and Aleister Black want to challenge the War Raiders for the NXT tag team titles if they're already Raw tag team champions? It doesn't make any sense. So WWE has only one thing here to do. They either, and I know Aleister Black and Ricochet are not going to lose because that would be fucking stupid, especially right before their match at TakeOver. They either win the titles here, and it makes no sense, or this match ends in some fucked up finish where we get this match happening at WrestleMania again. And even at that point, who knows what's going to happen with Ricochet and Aleister Black against the War Raiders. I'm assuming they're not going to beat the War Raiders. War Raiders really haven't done anything of note with the tag team titles. I see Black and Ricochet's days in NXT being over. They're getting called up to the main roster. But why would you have them win the titles only to go to NXT to fight for titles that are less than the Raw tag team titles? And if they don't win the titles here, they're going to be set up for a match at WrestleMania. I mean, they deserve a match at WrestleMania anyway. They beat the Revival twice. Twice. So they should get a title match at WrestleMania. Why don't you make the fucking tag team titles a little bit more important and put them on WrestleMania's card? On top of the other 20 matches that we're going to fucking see. I think WrestleMania's card legitimately would be better if Aleister Black and Ricochet are on the card. This is only going to be done to set up a possible match at WrestleMania, if they don't win. Now, moving on. I want you guys to listen to this story, man. This is absolutely fucking ridiculous. Triple H had an NXT TakeOver New York conference call. And he mentioned Vince McMahon does not care about NXT storylines when calling up a superstar to the main roster. Really now? Really now? You don't say. WWE called up Ricochet, Aleister Black, Johnny Gargano, and Tomaso Ciampa to the main roster. This was done without Triple H being made aware. I have no words for that. I am still speechless when I understand what the fuck exactly happened with these call-ups. But he explained during an NXT TakeOver conference call that this is just the way things are. Look at how strongly Vince McMahon has everyone by the balls. That his own son-in-law just accepts it because that's the way it is. You believe that? Yeah, I got my biggest guys, my 4 top guys in NXT. And I'm not being called about their call-up, or their demotion, I should say, to Monday Night Raw. Nobody fills me in on anything. Meanwhile, one of those guys is my NXT champion who I've built this entire fucking storyline around for the entire fucking year with Johnny Gargano to end at our biggest show ever. Vince is just going to call him up with nothing with no fucking thought about what it could possibly do, with no care for storylines that are going on right now with these guys. Just going to call them up without making Triple H, who is the guy in NXT, just going to call them up without letting Triple H know of their whereabouts. Triple H explained that Vince McMahon has the final say-so when it comes to calling up an NXT superstar to the main roster. There is no discussion of whether NXT needs a superstar for a certain angle, because when WWE needs someone, there are no questions asked. Did WWE really need Johnny Gargano? Did they really need Ricochet or Aleister Black? Or better yet, did they really need Tomaso Ciampa? Did they? The answer is no. They didn't need any one of them. Aleister Black and Ricochet have not made an impact on the main roster, just based off what we've seen already. Because WWE has not pushed them the way that we all expected them to be pushed. Now, Triple H mentioned if they're going to be or it was mentioned to Triple H via a question, if they're going to remain a tag team following WrestleMania. That is what the Raw after WrestleMania and the SmackDown after WrestleMania are probably going to foreshadow with Aleister Black and Ricochet. We'll know more then. It's more like a reset button after WrestleMania. Now, they knew about Tomaso Ciampa's injury, and when he got called up, they all knew that he needed some time off. But his main roster call-up happened anyway. Further injuring him could have been avoided, but it obviously wasn't. Because Vince McMahon wanted what he wanted, he didn't even run it by fucking Triple H. They had at least hoped for him to get some exposure on the main roster before he had to take time off, but his surgery at that point was unavoidable. Only time will tell who Vince McMahon buries next on the main roster, but Vince McMahon does not care about storylines going into NXT. When he wants someone, if they're in the middle of something, no matter who they are or what they're doing, he wants them without any regard for any storytelling. And this is someone who runs the fucking company. He doesn't give a shit about what is going to happen down there. He doesn't give a fuck about storytelling and storylines down there. What makes you think that he's going to change the way he looks at Monday Night Raw? The man is absolutely fucking careless. He is damaging his own product. He is reckless. I've never seen a CEO or a wrestling promotion in general operate under this type of recklessness. That is absolutely fucking sad. You know, nobody's going to admit it. Triple H is not going to throw Vince McMahon underneath the fucking bus. He signs everybody's fucking paycheck. Does Vince McMahon. Not going to say a goddamn fucking thing. But when someone's neck is injured, and you know it, you have to speak up. You have to speak up. Now, Tomaso Ciampa is not going to be put in a situation where he's going to tell Vince, well, Vince, I got a bad neck. They're telling this story down in NXT with me for over a year now. It's going to culminate in a main event match at TakeOver New York. Vince is going to look at him like, who the fuck are you? Number one, do what the fuck I say, motherfucker. So Tomaso Ciampa is in no position to say. He's only looking at it, well, I'm on Monday Night Raw. I've always dreamed about being here. I'm going to get more exposure. Boom. I'll see what happens. I'll take the chance. But everyone knew of his injury. Everyone knew of his injury, and they still allowed him to go out there and perform. In nothing matches. So when you want to look at TakeOver New York and ask yourself what could have been, we still could have got Tomaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano, and Ciampa could have been the one to drop the title to Johnny like we all expected it to. But you know what? I'm going to look at it in a light that is a little bit more positive. Johnny Gargano is either staying at his own request in NXT, or someone made an executive decision and opted to keep him down there because it's what is best for business. Johnny Gargano is staying in NXT reportedly for another year, and he's not going anywhere with the main roster. So it's being reported right now by Mike Johnson of PW Insider. He says, and I quote, I heard he's going to be in NXT at least until Tomaso comes back. Johnny Gargano had a couple of good weeks on the main roster. Then all of that changed with Tomaso Ciampa's injury. We'll have to wait and see what's going on with that. But there were also reports that I absolutely fucking laughed at that WWE management could potentially put Johnny Gargano on 205 Live. Are you fucking kidding me? That would be the biggest fucking waste of a talent I have ever seen. So if Johnny opted to stay in NXT at his own request, because he wants to legitimately finish the storyline with Tomaso Ciampa and have something happen when he comes back, great. Johnny Gargano might be the smartest man in WWE. He knows that if he goes to the main roster without Ciampa, he'll probably get fucking swallowed alive, just based on his size alone. He knows that they won't do anything with him. So at this rate, Johnny may actually end up winning the title at TakeOver New York if he's going to stay in NXT for another year, because if that is the case, and when Ciampa eventually comes back, the only one that would make sense to be NXT champion is Johnny Gargano. Or Adam Cole could win it and Johnny could win it back, or win the title eventually from Cole. But I don't know. The biggest point I'm trying to make here is we could have got the match that we wanted. It might not have been as great as the other ones, but all of this was completely avoidable. It was fucking avoidable. And Vince McMahon doesn't even know what is operating under his fucking company. He don't give a shit about NXT. I don't understand the disregard and the disrespect that people have in that company about NXT. Oh, fuck it. We'll just pull them up anyway with no fucking regard for what's happening on storylines. That is pathetic. That is absolutely fucking pathetic. You're not only disrespecting your fucking son-in-law and all the fucking people training the future of the company, you are disrespecting every single fucking man and woman in that fucking company under NXT who are scratching and clawing for a fucking opportunity when they're given something to do and they're operating at 100% to just pull them out and put them in nothing. Nothing. Black and Ricochet both look worse on Monday Night Raw just for being called up. Black has been humanized. There's no special mystique or aura about Aleister Black. They got him standing around cheering on Kofi Kingston in the back on SmackDown Live. Meanwhile, this guy is supposed to be dark and ominous and fucking pissed off and brooding, right? He's supposed to come up through the fucking smoke. This guy has been now given a spotlight on Monday Night Raw, humanized. He's in backstage segments with Lana, cheering on Kofi Kingston. He is a guy in a character that should not be amongst everybody else, because it makes him look average and normal. And then you put Ricochet just this past week in a match with Jinder Mahal. Yeah, that's exactly what I want to see, a Ricochet match, or with a Ricochet match. Yeah, him grounded in a fucking headlock for 6 minutes. You gotta be fucking kidding me. You never seen Ricochet in a match like that in his entire time in NXT. Look at what they did on Monday night. That's your best utilization of Ricochet? I don't believe the things that I say. I really don't believe the things that I see, and then no one speaks up about it. Moving on. Working myself up over here. WrestleMania 35, set to be the longest event in WWE history. Yeah, great. There's expected to be 17 matches on the card, following the addition of 2 tag team title matches. The other one I'll talk about in a second. One of them I mentioned already. Ricochet and Black versus The Revival. The WWE Network listing for the event is also very interesting because it is giving the event plenty of time as well. The kickoff show is set to start at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. It would probably be a good idea not to have a match until the fans have filed into MetLife Stadium. But with 2 hours, they will obviously have more than enough time to squeeze a couple of matches into the show that will stream on all WWE's social media platforms. The event is not listed to end until after 12:30 a.m. 12:30 a.m. That means, with the addition of the kickoff show, WrestleMania is looking to be 7.5 hours long. This exceeds last year's WrestleMania event, and we all thought that was torture. In all reality, WWE can have as long as of an event as they want, but obviously, the longer the event goes, the worse it is going to be. That is just my prediction. Plus, I don't want to be stuck in fucking New Jersey traffic trying to leave MetLife Stadium, especially if I have to cross the George Washington Bridge. I envy no one going to that show. You've signed your own fucking death sentence. Go ahead. Sit there and fucking spend $20 for a fucking Coors Light and sit there and watch subpar wrestling. I'll be in my pajamas doing what the fuck I want to do. Probably not even doing a review when the show is over, because who the fuck wants to talk wrestling after being subjected to a mediocre show for 8 hours? Yeah. The longer the better, right? Unreal. WWE has a title match likely for the WrestleMania kickoff show. Dave Meltzer commented on Wrestling Observer Live that the Usos and the SmackDown Live Tag Team title defense will most likely end up on the kickoff show. Yeah, what a great way to support one of the best tag teams of the modern era. This is interesting because their match is slated to be a four corners match. Usos have also historically been on the kickoff show, and they really haven't been given time to shine on the actual Mania main card. But at least they will be able to get their match over so they can relax backstage during WrestleMania and possibly consider, becoming free agents in May, which I'll talk about in a second as well. I just don't believe the lack of the lack of love for tag team wrestling. Like, I don't understand how you have a team like the Usos, who are the absolute best tag team in the WWE, and I'm just talking main roster. I'm honestly talking main roster. If you want to go and dive deeper, I honestly think after what Undisputed Era did last year, the Usos and Undisputed Era are neck and neck. Whether it's Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish, or you want to put Kyle O'Reilly and Roderick Strong. Whatever Undisputed Era did in 2018 cannot be overlooked. Every match that they had was a fucking classic. The Usos are considered not only the best tag team in WWE main roster, but they may be considered one of the best tag teams on the fucking planet. And they're on the pre-show? And they're your tag team champions? Why are they your tag team champions? Oh, that's right. Because you're afraid of them going to AEW, and you think by giving them the tag team titles that it's going to give them some sense of security. Right? It's going to give them some sense of, oh, they want us and appreciate us. Meanwhile, you haven't done jack shit with the fucking tag team titles. And they're on the kickoff show. Instead of building the fucking titles up in a match with the Hardys, giving us a WrestleMania match that everybody could get excited about with some fucking momentum underneath it, now we'll just throw all these tag teams that we haven't fucking used for weeks into a four corners match because that's what we do. Why the fuck would they stay with the WWE? How could you look at the Usos and give them the tag team titles and have them be your tag team championships, yet opt to give Michael fucking Chi and Colin Jost more TV time and more of a priority on WrestleMania than your fucking tag team champions? I'm waiting. Does anybody have a logistical fucking response to that one? I don't understand the lack of care for tag team wrestling. And what are you going to do with this four corners match? Who cares? The four corners match is going to include the New Day, Sheamus and Cesaro, and Rusev and Nakamura. Because Aleister Black and Ricochet were supposed to be in that match, but they're going to be moved to the Raw Tag Team title match. Unreal. Unreal. The Hardys aren't even in the fucking Fatal 4-Way. They're in the Battle Royal. Nakamura and Rusev are not in the Battle Royal. So instead of building a Hardys versus Usos match at WrestleMania, we're getting a four corners match against teams that the Usos have fought for the last 3 fucking years. And then a team that nobody gives a shit about. Unreal. This company is a bunch of fucking idiots. Really. I also read a report that this WrestleMania has been logistically the biggest nightmare for WWE. Why was it a nightmare? I wonder why. You had nothing set for this card 4 weeks ago. You're trying to build an 8-hour show in a span of 4 weeks. Whose fault is that? Whose fault is that? WWE's contract status for the Usos. Dave Meltzer talked about Jimmy and Jey Uso's contracts expiring on Wrestling Observer Live. Although things might have changed since he last reported this, it appears the Usos have still not signed new WWE deals. He says, and I quote, they had not signed as of a couple of weeks ago, so I don't know if they've signed or not, even now. It's interesting because they always are booked to be at WrestleMania, but I think there's a good shot that they're on the pre-show, so that Fatal 4-Way is likely going to happen. So as good as they've been, there's only so much time to be given out. Man, if the Usos need to look at anything in WWE as to why they should not re-sign with the company, just look at the fucking disrespect that the company shows the Usos. For whatever reason, I don't know why. They haven't been, have they even been on a WrestleMania? One time, right? What was it against? It was against the Bludgeon Brothers in the New Day. What were they giving, like 8 minutes? A couple years back in Orlando, if I'm not mistaken? I'm not really sure. Someone correct me on that. But I don't understand how you could be the Usos and look back at how WWE's treated you come the biggest event of the year, and they think nothing of you but the pre-show. Meanwhile, they have operated as the best fucking tag team in the WWE. Everything that the Usos have done with every team they've been in a serious match, they have absolutely hit a grand slam every single fucking time. Even with a makeshift tag team like The Miz and Shane McMahon. That goes to show you the testament of what they are for not only the WWE, but tag team wrestling in general. They have to know that they could be utilized more, that they should be respected even more so. And honestly, if I'm Jimmy and Jey Uso, I'm going to go somewhere where I am going to challenge myself. I'm going to be pushed to the limit, and I'm going to be given the fucking respect I deserve. You don't think the Usos versus a Lucha Brothers or a Young Bucks is going to fucking sell out or tear the house down on any show that they're on? Man, take my money now. Or an Usos versus an LAX? Come on, bro. You have to be out of your fucking mind, man. I don't understand how there's not one person in that company, WWE, that looks at tag team wrestling and doesn't get excited about the fucking way tag team wrestling right now is flourishing in the business. I don't get it. I don't get it. Honestly, I do House of Glory commentary every single fucking time we have an event. The best match of the entire night is that tag team title match. Every single time. Not only is that a testament to how good Santana and Ortiz are, but man, tag team wrestling like with teams like that not only make the fucking overall show better, but the titles itself are looked at as the most important thing on the entire night. I don't know, man. I really don't know the logic in this company. How you got teams like this and you don't embrace tag team wrestling. I don't get it. Watch. I hope the War Raiders and Aleister Black and Ricochet, even though they're a makeshift tag team too, I guarantee you, that match is going to be one of the matches people are talking about most by the end of that night. WWE considering a ladder match for WrestleMania 35. Again, what the fuck do I know? Nakamura and Rusev somehow got formed into a tag team. Meanwhile, they were both fighting for the United States title a couple of weeks ago. Why? So you're going to put them in a four corners match for the tag team titles. Meanwhile, they should be fighting for the U.S. title. When have they agreed to become partners in WWE? This is what WWE should have did. If they're considering a fucking ladder match, it should have been Andrade, Rey, Samoa Joe, R-Truth, Rusev, and Nakamura in a 6-man ladder match for the United States title, which would have left the Usos and the Hardys to battle out for the Smackdown Live Tag Team titles. Unfortunately, the New Day, they're too buried in this Kofi Kingston bullshit. You don't really need to get them on a match, because they'll be involved with Kofi. They'll be on the show anyway. The Bar? Oh well, tough luck. Maybe next year. Not everybody needs to be on WrestleMania every single fucking year. That's what I would have did. Now they're contemplating a ladder match. Where's the ladder match gonna go? Sean Ross Sapp is reporting that there's been some heavy pushes behind the scenes to add a ladder match on WrestleMania's card. This might happen, but you never know in WWE. With Raw and SmackDown's go-home episodes this week, they only have so much time to add a match like this on the card. Now, apparently WWE has looked at ladder matches and said to be that these matches are messy. Messy. Meanwhile, this is the same company that gave you not one, but two women's Money in the Bank ladder matches. The first one being won by a fucking man, and then they had to do it all over again. And this is the same company that gave you one of the best main events of 2018, a TLC match with Charlotte, Becky, and Asuka. No, but they're messy. They're messy. I don't really understand it. They have a Money in the Bank match every fucking year. You have a whole fucking pay-per-view built. You have two pay-per-views built around ladder matches as your main event. Yet they're messy? And you won't give me a ladder match when one is absolutely necessary? There were some promotional posters as well. NXT TakeOver New York looks to be, by this promotional poster, to be getting a ladder match. Now, there's some rumor going around that the women's title in NXT, Bianca Belair, Io Shirai, Kairi Sane, and Shayna Baszler is going to be contested under a ladder match. That the graphics were sent out. I don't know if it was done or doctored up by some fucking idiot on social media. Probably. But in this graphic, it was all four women, and underneath, in kind of mixed into the background of New York City, there was ladders coming up. Ladders coming up from the cities. They were standing next to the buildings in this graphic. Now, I don't know what that means or if this is legit. We'll have to find out as the days go on, but they don't really have much time to announce a ladder match, or if they want to, they could announce it on social media, but I don't know why NXT, of all places, would operate under that. If that was going to be a thing, they would announce this next week. They might very well do that, because one of the matches next week is Kairi versus Bianca. And I know Shayna has been interjecting herself in all of the women's matches. We could certainly see that. Not only a Fatal 4-Way, but a Fatal 4-Way ladder match. I think that's great. I would like to see that. But the ladder matches are messy, though, WWE says. Yeah, when they make sense, they're not messy. It's called logic. Fucking idiots, man. I swear to God, this WrestleMania season has been one of the worst, if not the worst, of all time. Chris Jericho banned from all things WWE. Chris Jericho was a mainstay in WWE for a long time, clearly. Maintained a great relationship with them, even when he was on hiatus from the company. However, this time might have just killed WWE and Jericho for good. Jericho announced that he's signing with AEW. We all know what that did. WWE took his image out of their opening graphic, which makes sense. They don't want anybody who is working for a rival promotion to be seen in the opening graphic. Then, now, and forever, right? Yeah, sure. Just another level of hypocrisy from WWE. Yeah, just go sign with AEW. Forever? He'll be erased like that. Now it looks like he's officially blackballed from WWE because superstars aren't even allowed to appear on his Talk is Jericho podcast, as Y2J explained on a recent episode. He says, and I quote, "I've talked with Vince a couple of times, but I'm kind of public enemy number one there now. I've been kind of removed from the annals of history. I asked the other day if I could have a couple of guys on my podcast to promote Mania, and I was told no. It's not appropriate because you're in AEW. I am banned from WWE." He goes on to say, "I know they had to take some videos down from Up, Up, Down, Down of me playing. They edited some stuff from the Edge and Christian show that had my name on it." Jericho is locked into a multi-year deal with AEW. Obviously, WWE is pissed off. And for anybody saying that they aren't worried or they're not really giving a shit about anything AEW. Jericho just kind of blasted them and kind of exposed them for being fucking liars and hypocrites, man. That's ridiculous. That is absolutely fucking ridiculous. Now, I understand that they might not want, you know, him signing with AEW is now competition. They might not want their guys on an AEW now sponsored podcast. This guy's going to be the biggest face on AEW. They don't want their guys being seen mingling with AEW who are in legit competition. So I can understand WWE there, but I don't know, man. They might not even need promotion for WrestleMania. It could be one of those deals, well, we don't need you. We don't need you for WrestleMania, man. We got our own thing going on. We're good enough. We don't need Jericho to promote WrestleMania. But, I mean, WWE wants to be petty. It's just business. I don't think it's going to last forever. Jericho is going to be in AEW. He's not going to be in AEW forever. He's eventually going to go into the WWE Hall of Fame. This will be swept under the rug. But right now, WWE is on high alert. And they're really, really, really worried about what AEW is bringing to the table. And nobody could tell me otherwise. They're watching everything from fucking a rooftop. They got snipers on rooftops, this WWE, looking at every move that AEW is making, whether it's reported or not. They are paying attention. When Double or Nothing happens, and we get closer and closer to a TV deal being announced, you know for a fact WWE is going to be worried. Everything they've done is a counter to AEW. Everything. I don't need to go over everything. Andrade being pushed, Balor being pushed, the Usos getting the tag team titles with them not really having any plans going into WrestleMania, the Revival getting tag team titles. All of this is a product of AEW. This is the AEW effect. People requesting their release from WWE has nothing to do with cash, because now there's another company throwing cash around. They want creative. They are creatively unsatisfied with WWE. WWE going into the back, into the dressing room, handing out 5-year contracts because they want to lock up everybody so they don't jump ship to AEW. It's all an AEW effect. For anybody to say that AEW has no effect on WWE, you're a fucking idiot. This clearly is another move by WWE to show you that they are worried. Yes, I understand they don't want their guys being looked at by AEW or on an AEW spot podcast, but one of the biggest names in the company. But I mean, it never stopped them before. Never stopped them before. WWE lends out talent all the time to these fucking podcasts. You never even heard who they are. Well, now Jericho's with AEW. Now it's a big fucking deal. Fuck out of here, man. Jericho banned from all things WWE. Nothing but fucking petty games. Immature games by WWE to just, again, show you how worried they really are. I don't know if I have anything else, man. I really don't have anything else. There was so much news today that I needed to get this up and going for Monday. I may even have an extra for you guys on Tuesday, right before SmackDown Live. So I don't know what we're going to do. Keep an eye and an ear out on the channel, man. We got more news coming. It's the biggest week of pro wrestling all year. I'll be here every step of the way. Make sure you guys hit that thumbs up down below. Hit that subscribe button down below. Follow me on social media, man. JD from NY206. Make sure you guys follow me on both Twitter and Instagram. JD from New York. Hit that subscribe button like I said. And that bell. Patreon.com/JD from NY206 for Patreon. If you guys want to support on Patreon. You guys know the deal with Audible. AudibleTrial.com/offthescript. Make sure you guys sign up for free. You guys get 30 days of their service, and that includes one free audiobook of your choice. Here's the best part. You sign up with Audible, and you guys download the app on your iPhone or Android device. You guys have within 30 days to cancel your service, and you get to keep your audiobook for free if you do indeed end up canceling and saying Audible is not for me. AudibleTrial.com/offthescript. Over 200,000 choices to choose from. Go and sign up today and support the podcast through Audible. Hooters, you guys know the deal, man. Come hang out with me April 5th, Friday, 1 to 4 p.m. RSVP is down below. This week's videos are all live right now on the channel. Off the Script, Raw, SmackDown, NXT. You guys have it all right there on the channel. And JDFromNY.com. Go and sign up for the newsletter. You guys will be updated on literally everything this week concerning WrestleMania. Thank you guys so very much for all your support this week. It's going to be a big week, man, right here on the podcast. We're going to cover all aspects of WrestleMania. It's the biggest week in pro wrestling all year, and I will cover every aspect that is WrestleMania 35. We got a brand new week with Raw and SmackDown Live, the go-home shows, and I'll be covering it all, man. Thank you guys so very much. Have a great week, and I will see you all right back here for Monday Night Raw. Until then, take care, and I'll talk to you guys later.